Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches here. Welcome to my channel where together we sew. For today's video, we're going to work on the second week of the Fort Worth Fabric Studio Simply Spring Sew Along. It is a mystery quilt sew along, so you all don't know what it's going to look like until it's all done. This one is going to finish at 38 inches square, and it's just a quick 3-week project, and we are on week 2, so we're more than halfway there after you finish today. So if you're brand new here, thank you so much for coming by. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell for notifications for when I go live or post up videos like this one. And if you're not brand new here and you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I feel like I know a lot of you and consider you friends, and I love seeing you here, so thank you. I can't wait to get started on this week's blocks. As you see, I've got one hanging on the wall behind me. This one is this week's blocks. These are last week's blocks. This week's block is not difficult, but there are definitely a lot more pieces in last week's block, so it takes a little bit more time, but not hard. So let's go ahead and get started and get all these done. There's 5 blocks altogether, 2 with pink centers, 2 with green centers, and 1 with a white center. So we're going to be making all of those this week. So let's go. Okay, so to make this block, you're going to need all these fabrics. It's a whole big list from A to K to make this week's blocks. There's 5 blocks. These are the main blocks in the quilt. And so next week we're just going to be putting the top together. So you want to get all these done this week. These do take a little bit more time. They're a little bit more complicated. They're not hard, as I said before, but they've got more steps than obviously last week's 4 patches. So this is the printout. It's 2 pages this week. I'm going to set that aside up here where I can still see it, and I'm going to show you how to make one block and let you do all 4 on your own. I've already made one. This will be the second one, and then I'll have to make the rest. So here's the center. I'm making 2 of them have this pink background center. 2 of them have a green center, the light green, this print but light green, and one of them has a light, this same print but white background center. I was gonna see if I can find the square over there, but I don't see it right offhand, so I don't want to go digging. So you're gonna start off with 2 of these, and one is one I already made, so it's on the wall. I can show you guys again. So you're gonna grab this color and this color, these 2 for the first ones. That's your center, and then you're gonna want to grab this green, the same kind of square, and this white right here square. They're all the same size. And then you're going to need 2 of your background squares per block, and then the little green squares. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those guys, 2 of these guys, and 1 of this and 1 of the green. Put this guy back on the wall. Okay. First thing we're going to do is start off with your this piece and your white piece, floral piece and your background piece, and then you're going to do the same with the green and the white. I've already sewn those ahead of time just to save some time, but it's the same process for both. You're going to layer that with the right sides together, the floral and the white, and you're going to sew 1/4 inch all the way around the outside, all 4 sides. I'm not clipping my thread, I'm just turning my piece, pulling the thread out a little bit, going again. Okay, so that one's done, and as you can see, the pretty fabric is on the inside. So I'm going to use this ruler for squaring, but I'm going to put that aside for a second because I need a longer ruler, because we're now going to cut this on the diagonal both directions. This will get you 4 half square triangles. So line it up really good. Remember to take your time because once you've cut this, there is spare fabric in this kit, so if you make a mistake, you could probably cut more. But who wants to do that? Who wants to cut more fabric? So take your time, line it up, and what I'm doing is where I turn to the corners, the fabric, the thread crossed over each other. So I'm kind of using that as a guide. And when I go this direction, I'm going to line a line on my ruler right on that line I already cut. That'll tell me that I'm straight. I'll go right across, take that off. If I did this correctly, I should have 4 pieces. There we go. And these we're going to open up and press towards the print, and those are going to become our half square triangles. So let me close that. Press these guys. So you're going to have 8 half square triangles per block, because like I said before, I already prepped these just to save some time, but you're going to put the green with the white, the same as this green, and you're going to make these into half square triangles as well. So you're going to have 4 of those and 4 of these. Now I do recommend going ahead and sewing the background and the print together for all of your blocks at one time, sort of like a chain piecing situation, although you're really not chain piecing, but it just saves a lot of time if you do that step first, cut them all apart, and make your half square triangles. Then your blocks are going to go together really quickly. Now I didn't do it that way because I was trying to make a sample to show you guys, but as I was making the sample, it did take a little bit of time, and I feel like it would go faster if you did all your half square triangles up front, because you have to sew around the outside of the square to get your 4 half square triangles, and then you have to cut them apart, get your half square triangles, iron them, and then you're going to have to trim them down. So that part is what's going to take the time. Now, if you're one of those people that likes to do one block at a time so you can see progress, that's fine too. That's how I pretty much am doing mine now, because I didn't think to do all my half square triangles in the beginning, because I wanted to be able to video and show you guys what I'm doing. But that's probably the way that I would have done it, if hindsight being 2020, because that's the most tedious part of making these blocks. So that would make it feel like you're getting these done if you can just start sewing after that. Okay, so these are all pressed. Now we need to trim down these half square triangles to 2 3/4 inches, or 2.75 inches. Now make sure you definitely be really careful, measure very carefully, because a lot of us are very used to making half square triangles or cutting little squares like this. But I know for me personally, I cut a lot of either 2.5 or 3 or 2, not a lot of 2 3/4. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. These come out really, really nice with the 2 3/4. It's just that I know personally I'm not used to cutting on the quarter very often. I usually cut on a 1/2 inch or a full inch. So the first couple of times I tried these, or the first block I did on this, I didn't make a mistake, but I was close to making a mistake, because I'm just not used to looking for that 3/4 mark. So that's a good spot to kind of go slow. And all I'm doing is, on my ruler that you can see the solid diagonal line, I'm lining that up on my seam and pulling my ruler down to the 2 3/4 inch marking and trimming. I love that this is a fast project. We're going to have a finished quilt top next week, guys. I'm real excited about that. it's nice to have some small projects in between bigger projects. I've been working on a lot of UFOs lately, and most of them are quilts, like big full-size quilts. So it's nice to have something small like this in between to work on, so I can feel like I'm getting something done. Okay, that's those all trimmed up. Close that, put that aside, put that aside. Now, I'm going to lay this out. Hopefully y'all will be able to see it. Get my diagram here. Okay, I'm going to start with one of those guys there, that there. So it's the light color of the green for this block. All the blocks will be different, of course. And then the green again, and then the lighter one. So the lighter ones are going to be out on the outside corners. These are going to be here. Green, the green again, green. And then the green, and then this light one is going to be again on the outside corner, and another light one on the outside corner, and a green, and the green half square triangle. Okay, so that's somewhat of the layout of what our block is going to look like. So I'm going to start by putting these two pieces together and then attaching them to the center. I think I just ran out of bobbin thread. Yes, I did. Part of sewing, right? So I hope you guys are having fun with this sew along. I'm enjoying it so far. The fabric they chose this time is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm super happy about this. These are definitely fabrics that I personally wouldn't normally choose, just because I don't know what to do with them. It's not because I don't like them, because I don't know what to do with them. But this is where it's nice to have a company like this that thinks outside of the box for you, so you don't have to. I like that. Sometimes I don't want to have to think about what to do with things. I just want somebody to tell me. And this is a real good example of that. Okay. Let me get that bobbin back up. There we go. Because these fabrics are absolutely gorgeous, but definitely not something I would have known what to do with on my own. So, okay, we're back in business. That sews much better with bobbin thread. Okay. That. And now I'm going to give these a quick little press. and then attach them to either side of the center. There's one side, now the other. Okay. Just going to finger press that for a second. I will press everything on the iron in a minute. I'm going to start with the top row, just taking a piece down the line as I go. I like to kind of keep everything laid out like this. It helps keep my brain straight as to what needs to go to what. Okay. I'm going to do this bottom row, and then I'll press everything and then put the rows together. Feel free to pin all this if you want to along the way. I'm just not much of a pinner. There's certain places I will pin, and that one of those will be coming up, but I tend to not pin. I avoid pinning as much as possible. Put it that way. I'm borrowing my daughter's iron today because my little steam fast guy that I've had for about 6.5 years finally bit the dust. But I can't complain because I think at the time when I purchased it, it was about $15 and I got 6.5 years out of it. So I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm just waiting for my new one to arrive. So I pressed the center to the left, so I'm going to press the top and bottom row to the right, just to make it a little bit easier to nest up these seams. I believe the directions don't have pressing instructions. I think it says press as preferred. So if you are a person who likes to press all your seams open, feel free. Okay, that's that way. Let me iron this last one. tell you what, you guys, if you have a little iron and you like a super hot iron, this little Aliso gets real hot. I'd forgotten how hot it gets. Okay, so I'm just going to add my bottom and top row. You can pin these together if you want to make sure that your seams stay where you want them. I'm just going to sort of find them, making sure that they're nesting with each other. I'm going to press this one and then put the top row on. Okay, my top row. Okay. Give this guy a press. This is a lot heavier of a small iron than my little steam fast one. That's the difference. It does get just as hot though, so that's pretty good. Okay, so there's that block. So you're going to make two of these, two of the same pattern in the middle, the light green background, and the same pattern in the middle with the white. You're going to make one of, so 5 altogether. So not a hard block, just a little bit more time consuming than of course the 4 patches, which took about 2 minutes each. So this one will probably take you about an hour to finish all the blocks after you've got all of the pieces cut out. And like I said, if you do all the half square triangles for all your blocks, all 5 first, these things will go super quick, because as you can see, after I did all that cutting and pressing, the rest of the block went together fairly quickly. So there's week 2. Okay, so there's all the blocks done for the first 2 weeks. I finished all 5 of my blocks from this week and then the 4 from last week. So these are all the blocks for the entire project. Next week we're going to get the finishing instructions and put this whole thing together. I'm really excited, especially because we have not used this color yet, and so I can't wait to see how this fits into, that's a scrap, but I can't wait to see how that fits in and ties this all together, because that is such a beautiful fabric and I think it's going to look great with all these florals. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon. Bye!